Go inside the Crimson Tide. Tider Insider TV with Rodney Orr and Carrie Harris.
The offseason gets shorter and shorter every year for Alabama football, doesn't it? Seems like it. Spring training already underway. It kicked off last Friday afternoon inside the Hank Crisp indoor facility. Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide, though, now breaking. Like all the UA students, it's spring break. They'll return next Monday, though, and begin the grind, working toward the annual 8A game on April the 18th. And with that, we say good evening, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Tider Insider TV. Alongside Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com, I'm WVUA TV Sports Director Gary Harris. Our program brought to you each and every week by Buffalo Rock. Tonight, we're enjoying a great Pepsi product, Pepsi Next. I love the sound effect. All that great Pepsi taste, but 2/3 less calories than regular Pepsi. Only 60 calories per 12-ounce can. Gotta love it, and we do. All right, you would think that spring football, right, would normally be our, what are you laughing about?
You don't like that sugar.
Would normally be our lead story, but not this week, because a lot has changed in terms of Alabama athletics, and it happened on Sunday. AD Bill Battle announcing the termination of men's basketball coach Anthony Grant after 6 seasons at the Capstone. Now, by all accounts, and everybody knows Anthony Grant to be an honorable man, ran a clean program, required his players to do all the things academically they needed to do, didn't put up with any nonsense, but at the end of the day, he just didn't win enough games. And, Bill Battle says Alabama fans expect their programs to compete for championships. He said it was a tough decision Battle did to let go of such a high-character individual, but the program's progress wasn't satisfactory. Rodney, last week I sat here, and I've done it on radio shows, and said that I expected Anthony Grant to be back next season. Every indication I had was that he would be back, but I think something changed between last week and Sunday, namely the success of UAB getting in the NCAA tournament and Auburn winning 3 games in the SEC tournament under Bruce Pearl. I think that was a factor.
I think it was a big factor. I don't think there's any question about it, Gary. I agree with you. I think Anthony Grant was on his way back. I think pretty much that decision had been made to give him another year, but I think that certainly, the way the tournament played out, those tournaments played out, I think that certainly had an impact on where we are right now. And also, I think, Gary, when you look at the fan base, just judging by TiderInsider.com and the reaction, throughout those tournaments, I think the fan base kind of unified that they felt like it was time to move forward, and I think that Coach Battle agreed.
Well, you mentioned where we're at right now, and that's in the process of finding a coach. How long will it take? We don't know. But a guy that's got his pulse close to the program, of course, is Alabama basketball play-by-play man Chris Stewart. We were able to ask him what he thinks Alabama fans, the type of coach they would like to have lead this program.
They want to feel as though they've got a connection there, and they want some more of what they consider to be visibility in the media and in other areas. I think they're wanting somebody who is going to reach out to the fan base at a high degree, a high level, as well as put a product on the floor that they feel is not just competitive, but winning and plays an entertaining style of basketball.
Well, Rod, it's kind of unusual that a coach is fired on Sunday, then Sunday night that team accepts a bid to play in the postseason. Usually when a coach is let go, there's no postseason, but that is not the case for Alabama. The Tide is 6th seed in the NIT and will actually host the number 3 seed, Illinois, in a game tonight at 8 o'clock at Coleman Coliseum, because Illinois, the higher seed, is having work done on their arena, so they're traveling to Tuscaloosa. And Coleman Coliseum is exactly where our Jenn Chapman is right now. She is joining us live to bring us more on the man who will lead Alabama tonight. Jen?
Obviously a big shakeup with Alabama this past weekend when the Tide learned that head coach Anthony Grant would not be back with the team, not even for tonight's game. Joining me now is assistant coach Antoine Pettway, and I should also add a former Bama star, and he's been here for quite some time. Antoine, what's the temperament of the team heading into this game?
I think the temperament of the team is the guys are pretty good. They, of course, Sunday was a very emotional day for them, losing their head coach. But I think they're kind of rallied together, and they're looking forward to getting back out there competing. They want to do it for Coach Grant, and also want to get these seniors, they want to take them out the right way. So I think the overall temperament of the team is good, and they're just ready to play.
And what have you guys done to prepare them specifically for this game, this Illinois team?
We done scout report on Illinois, and we've told them just how good they are. You're dealing with a team that's 19-13, 9-9 in conference play, probably a game out of the NCAA tournament. That's a guard-oriented team that's going to come out in attack mode all night. So we know we're going to have to be at our best to beat them tonight, and I think our guys are ready.
This coaching move kind of caught some people off guard with Alabama being over 500 and so many close games, but also with the program having such great academic success. You get your first All-American in academics with Levi Randolph. What do you see as the direction of this program, even without Anthony Grant?
I think the direction of the program is going in a good direction. Very proud of what Coach Grant and our staff were able to accomplish while we were here. You're dealing with a team that, like you said, had some great academic success, had, I think, some good success on the court as well. Had a lot of injuries, lost a couple close games and won a couple, but I think overall what Coach Grant was able to accomplish here, man, I think he has his program sitting in a pretty good spot.
And Alabama has set the tone that they want to move forward. Being a former Bama player, how do you hope they move forward from this?
Get another good guy in here that's going to teach the guys like Coach Grant taught them. I think you're dealing with a guy in Coach Grant that was a high character guy, man, that anybody that knew him, anybody that came in contact with him, man, just had nothing but great things to say. I know myself, I learned so much from him. My family, just being around his family, he's just a great person. So I think just bringing in another classic guy like that does it the right way. And like I said, I'm very proud of the things we were able to accomplish my time here and Coach Grant's time here. So.
And what's going to be the key to getting the win tonight?
I think we got to come out and just play aggressive, defend them really well. They're a very guard-oriented team. We got to defend the three-point line and keep them off the foul line.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. We're on Tighter Insider right now. And yes, this was your first time going live, you said?
Yeah, this was my first time going live, so I hope I did all right job.
You did great, and we're going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Coach. You did do a great job. And, John Brannon will lead this team as the interim head coach, Rodney. But I'll tell you something. Antoine Pettway played here, led Alabama to SEC regular season championship in 2002 when he hit the shot that beat Florida to clinch the title. Is doing a terrific job being a recruiter for this team, has brought in a lot of talent. I don't know who the new head coach is going to be, Rob, but I can tell you they'd be smart to take a look at retaining Antoine Pettway.
Yeah,
I mean that.
No doubt about it, Gary. You talked about he's certainly in basketball lore here at Alabama. I mean, he played a big role. You talk about the shot that he hit, and he was always really a team player, the kind of guy that you really, you want as the face of your program, Gary, with the way he the character that he's always had.
All right, that game will tip off at 8 o'clock tonight at Coleman Coliseum. ESPN will televise. The winner will advance to play either Miami or North Carolina Central. So a lot surrounding the basketball program to talk about, but as we said at the top of the show, spring football practice began as well last week. Rodney, kind of unusual that you have one practice and then you go on spring break, but that is the way it works. Some news came out of that first practice. 2 defensive players will miss the entire spring due to injuries. Denzel Duvall and Cyrus Jones wearing the black non-contact jerseys on the bike. They won't practice. Offensive lineman Grant Hill still on medical leave. We don't know what his status is. Tyron Jones continues to serve a suspension. Here's Nick Saban following the first practice talking about, what he saw.
This first practice is probably give us a little snapshot of where we are, give every player a little snapshot of where he is, what he needs to do to get better, what they need to do to improve, what we need to do to improve as a team. So it's kind of a reference point where we all are, individually and collectively as a team.
Rodney, you didn't get to see a lot of that first practice, but you did get to see some. And of course, we always say that there are a lot of good-looking athletes on the football field at Alabama. But just your observations from one practice in the spring of 2015.
I tell you, I was really amazed, Gary, at Kenyon Drake and where he is. Coach Saban said in that press conference that he was timed at 4.4 in the 40 last week. I mean, that's incredible given the the injury that he had. And I thought, certainly, again, when you're talking about this team, a lot of impressive physical specimens, no doubt about that. When you see that defensive line group, though, I mean, that's at a different level. I haven't been around too many NFL teams, but that's certainly physically, that defensive line has got to be as impressive as any college football program has in the country.
I agree. That's what I was going to say. Can you say NFL? Because that's what those guys look like. All right, they'll be back to work next Monday following spring break. More to come on TITV, including Nick Saban evaluating the quarterback situation as really only he can. Plus, WVUA's own Scott Braswell caught up with former Crimson Tide quarterback Blake Sims at his youth camp this past weekend and has a special look at how he's helping to give back to the community. And we'll be welcoming your phone calls, emails, and tweets. As always, there's the information on the screen on how you can get in touch with us. Give us a call, 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882. Or email us or reach out to us on Twitter as well. We'll be right back with the only show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide, Tider Insider Television. We'll return after this. Well, for the third time, Trent Richardson has a new NFL address. The former Crimson Tide running back who was recently released by the Colts signed with the Raiders on Tuesday. He's expected to compete for the starting running back job after Oakland lost its leading rusher from a year ago, Darren McFadden, to free agency. McFadden signed with the Cowboys. Richardson says this is going to be his last stop. He says he's going to make it happen this time. Well, Trent, I got news for you. It's probably going to be your last stop one way or the other. I hope it's a long stop and you get it turned around, 3 yards carry. Not the numbers that people were looking for when he came out of Alabama. All right, Rodney, a lot of people are curious to see how this battle at quarterback plays out at Alabama. Will be a true freshman like Blake Barnett or David Carnwell, a redshirt freshman, or, could it be a veteran like Jake Coker at the position? Rodney, this is a position that's going to be highly watched, but you know what? It's just one position on the football field, and in addition to quarterback, Alabama has some other skilled players that they're going to have to replace on the offensive side of the ball. Of course, Nick Saban was asked specifically about the quarterback on Friday, and he reminded us in a way that only Nick Saban can remind us that he doesn't know right now either. Here's the coach from Friday.
Again, we only had one practice, all right, and you guys act like we've been practicing every day, illegally in the off season, which we haven't been doing. So as much as I'd like to be able to tell you that the guy's done great since January, I really can't, because all we've done is run around cones and jump over bags and, that kind of stuff. So, today's the first day. He certainly seemed a lot more confident out there and comfortable.
Well, the quarterback, Rod, they're trying to replace hasn't disappeared from the city of Tuscaloosa yet. Blake Sims is getting ready for the upcoming NFL draft, but he hasn't let that stop him from giving back to the community that cheered him on while he was in the Crimson and White. Scott Braswell has the story.
3, 1, 2, 3.
Ball squad!
Hey, everybody get on up.
Right here.
Nick Saban once said no man stands as tall when he stoops to help a child. Former Alabama quarterback Blake Sims is putting those words into action.
Just have the opportunity to give back, and maybe I can say one thing to change a young man's mind and just give back to the community, because they took time to come to games and watch me play, so I think that's the best gift of all.
Throughout the last few weeks, Sims has been holding football camps for kids young and old across the state of Alabama. Sims says the time at his camps is truly special.
Walking out, seeing all these kids out here having fun and saying my name when I'm coming to their group, I think that's the best feeling. And just know that I'm just giving time and just seeing these kids smile, that's the best feeling.
Now that Blake's college career is over, it also means he can spend more time with his 17-year-old brother Hunter, who says the two share a special bond.
He's mentored me a lot. I like following his footsteps, to be honest with you. Everybody asks, why do you do this, why do you do that? Because we're just close to each other. That's just the way we are.
Campers have also enjoyed the personal interaction with Sims, and some come away surprised at his demeanor away from the field of competition.
Blake Sims, he kind of cool. More than I expect. He act like one of us. He ain't all up there, up in the clouds like you would think, like all high-profile players would be, all stuck up. He cool and laid back.
Blake Sims waited his turn for 5 years before getting his chance to shine. Today, he stands tall over aspiring youth.
A lot of players, don't go to the NFL and some don't go to college. Just know that you can go pro into any other thing. Just because you don't have to be an NFL player to be famous. Work hard and do what you have to do, get straight A's, and be great in life.
For WVUA Sports, I'm Scott Braswell reporting.
Great story, Scott. We're looking forward to seeing Blake get that opportunity at the NFL level. Rodney, I wouldn't bet against him.
Yeah. Did a great job there, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a competitor and a great guy. We'll get an update on Alabama softball when we come back on TITV, a big weekend for Pat Murphy and company. And also, we'll be welcoming your phone calls, emails, and tweets. As always, Rodney's just biting at the bit to talk to you about whatever is on your mind. So make sure and give us a call or reach out to us on Twitter or by email. We'll be back right after this. Couple of freshmen led the Tide against Georgia in a huge series over the weekend in Athens. Demi Turner had a critical hit on Saturday and Sunday. She drove in some runs, hit a home run as the Tide knocked off the 8th-ranked Bulldogs. And also Alexis Osorio got 2 wins in the circle. For her efforts, Turner was named the SEC Freshman of the Week. Here's what's on tap for the Tide. They improved to 20-5 overall, 5-1 in the SEC. Now they will host Georgia State tomorrow night in a midweek game, and then a huge series at home against Florida this weekend. That is going to be a heck of a series between those two juggernauts who played last year for the national championship. All right, Rodney, let's head to the phone lines. First up tonight, right here in Tuscaloosa, is Mud. Hey, Mud.
How you doing now?
Very well. What's up, man?
Hey, I'm very curious about this.
Okay.
I think Mr. Bowers is trying to make my household turn into an Auburn fan. Okay, Coach Grant is just now beginning to get his players where he can get the guys that he drafted to play. All right? What else can you ask for in the SEC? Okay? Kentucky, can't nobody beat them. Then you got Florida, and now Alabama was the third. So he's still coming up winning games. He haven't made it to the championships yet, but he's just now beginning to get his game people in to play his type of ball. When he first got there, he had disciplinary people playing on the team that he had to get rid of. And then Wimp Simon was a very good coach. He always made it to the Final 16, but never went to the championship. So, what is it? Can you give this man a chance? They've already fired him, but they haven't given him a chance to play the players that he drafted so he could do.
All right, Mud. Yeah, man. Thanks for the phone call. I mean, I don't know. He's had 6 years. I think everybody knows I like and respect Anthony Grant. As I said earlier, I'm surprised he's not the head coach. But based on results, the last couple of years have been disappointing. There's no other way around it. And particularly this year, you mentioned recruiting. He had a senior class that they all went to the NCAA tournament as freshmen. Levi Randolph, Rodney Cooper, Trevor Lacey, Nick Jacobs. Lacey and Jacobs aren't even here anymore, and then as seniors, they don't make it. So, I think he was given an opportunity. Should he have gotten another year? It's a moot point now.
Yeah, and Mud, don't change into an Auburn fan, certainly. But, Anthony Grant was given 6 years, and, he did some good things, Mud. I certainly agree with you, and I think he ran a high-character program. And be honest with you, probably no one ran a cleaner program than what Anthony Grant ran here at Alabama. So certainly from that respect, he did an outstanding job. And again, I think he had some big wins on the floor. But at the same time, I think over the last couple of years, he's been here 6 years, he's had, some classes that have come through that I think by now, you would have thought more than one NCAA tournament in 6 years. I mean, certainly that's really ultimately what you're going to be judged by. And I do think he's had a fair opportunity. And it just didn't work out.
All right, tell you what, we got some callers on hold. We need to catch up on our break. So, Roger, you keep holding. Gerald, you keep holding. We'll get to you after this break. More TITV is coming up, so stay with us. And Alabama's baseball team took a cue from the softball team. They went on the road as well against a nationally ranked team and took the series. Bama taking 2 of 3 at Mississippi State. Breaking open close games on Saturday and Sunday to claim the series victory 2-1. So good start for the Tide. Here's what's ahead for Alabama baseball. They play Sanford tonight over to Hoover Met and then host Texas A&M, who is unbeaten. I mean, hasn't lost a game at all this season, Friday through Sunday in Hoover. So big series for the Tide. Rodney, let's head right back to the phone lines and talk with Roger in Birmingham. Thanks for holding, Roger. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine. How about you, Mr. Harris and Mr. Orr?
Very well.
Well, thank you.
Hey, I'm an old retired high school coach up here, and when Coach Battle was playing out there at West End, I was playing at Woodlawn, and I admire him for making this move. 2 things. Who would you suspect would be the next AD once Coach Battle retires? Would you think Coach Saban might step in that position?
Well, Roger, I don't know. I know there has been some speculation that maybe Coach Saban at some point might think about being the AD. I know he's wrapped up in football right now. I'm with you on Coach Battle. I think he's just a great guy and has done a terrific job here. I don't have any idea who might be the next AD, Rod. I do think that, if it's not Coach Saban, I think they'll go, with somebody who has the potential to stay here for a long time.
Yeah, I do too. And again, I think Nick Saban at some point might be a really good one to have there as athletics director. But, right now I'm not sure exactly how long Coach Battle's going to be here, if it's going to be that much longer. And I'm not really sure that Nick Saban at this point is looking forward to stepping down as a head football coach. Not that you couldn't hold both titles, but that's rarely done anymore.
Yeah, I think he's looking forward to trying to win a couple more
That's
national
right.
championships right now. Real quickly, let's talk to Gerald in Cottondale. Hey, Gerald, what's up?
Good.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes one play can make a difference in a ball game. And I'm still thinking about Levi Randolph getting that bad call called on him in that last game up at Nashville, Tennessee. You remember the play I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do, and I think you're right. I think that Alabama had a season of those one plays. I look back to Wichita State when they had an 11-point lead with less than 5 minutes, whether it was a call, a turnover, a ball rimming out. More times than not this season, they just didn't make that one play. Gerald, and if they did a few times, they'd be in the NCAA tournament, and we wouldn't be talking about this. Anthony Grant would be coming back. But you're right, one play oftentimes can make a difference in a game, and it did several times for Alabama this season. Hey, thanks for the phone calls, emails, and tweets, although we didn't take any this week, but thanks for the calls. Anyway, we'll be wrapping up the show when we return here. It's a warm night. Spring is here in the air in Tuscaloosa. Stay with us. Well, Alabama lost the gymnastics meet on Friday night against number 1 ranked Oklahoma in a close one, but it was a winning night for Kayla Williams. The Crimson Tide senior gymnast and her longtime boyfriend Kevin Norwood became engaged when Norwood got on one knee and popped the question. He asked, she said yes. What a way. Alabama's in the SEC Championships in Duluth, Georgia coming up this weekend. Before we get out of here, Rod, a couple of notes on the football program according to Tidesports.com. Charlie Weiss Jr., son of Charlie Weiss, and former Washington and Kansas offensive coordinator Eric Keesaw have joined the Alabama support staff. So interesting there. Nick Saban always looking to bring in more good football coaches. And that is going to do it for the program for this week. It's dinner time, Rod. We're headed over to Buddy's Rib and Steak in Northport. So if you want to come talk some football, basketball, or more, Rod and I will be out there in about 15 minutes for dinner at Buddy's Rib and Steak in Northport. So for Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. For our producer, B.J. Milliken, our director, Jen Hamner, and all the staff here at WVUA TV, thanks for watching TITV. And have a great Tuesday evening, everyone.